Mike and all from the Nerds of Color, and I'm here with Bryce McGuire, the director of Night Swim. How are you?
I'm great. Nerds of Color, big fan. Excited to have you here.
Thank you very much, Bryce. How are you? I gotta say, congratulations on this movie. You're writing, directing. It's a true creepy movie.
Awesome.
Which is perfect.
Yes.
I have to ask, you've been with this project technically since 2014, even before that, when you shot the short film with
true.
Rod,
Yeah.
What's it like to see it come to life from that small format to now big screen format produced by Jason Blum?
Yeah, Jason Blum and James Wan and
James Wan.
Universal Studios and all the best people making my favorite genre movies. It's surreal. It's a dream come true, truly. Like, I don't take any of this for granted. Like, when I was making this short film, I was substitute teaching at a kindergarten class in the LAUSD school system, which I was doing a lot at the time. And so, it's not assumed or for me that I would be here. Like, it was a crazy up and down journey, and a lot of things had to go right, and just be persistent and just keep fighting for the movie, and things just. It worked out. The right people came aboard this movie and helped me make it, so I feel very lucky.
You definitely, it's the talent too. James Wan and Jason Blum saw that short film and was like, this guy belongs among the pantheon of Universal horror. That's huge,
And Universal for me was so, I've said this before, but some of the most influential kind of aquatic horror movies for me was Jaws, obviously, huge. Jaws looms so large over this, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. Right? So seeing the Universal logo before this movie was just like melting my brain, It's just so special to me.
That's what I loved about this, actually. There were Black Lagoon vibes.
For sure.
Which I
100%.
really loved. Literal and,
Yes.
metaphorical as well. But I have to ask, there's very much a rich mythology in the depths, no pun intended, of Night Swim.
Yep.
And when you're bound to a short film like the one that you guys put together in 2014, you might not necessarily have time to explore all of this, and you finally do here.
Yeah.
Did those mythological elements come into play when you guys were creating the short film, and then finally you were able to expand on them, or did you kind of create them once you got optioned for the film?
I'll be honest, it was after the short, because the short was really just an exercise in environment and atmosphere, and can you make the pool creepy and be scary to adults? And then it was really like, okay, what is it with man's relationship with water? What is it? Why are we drawn to the water? What's the gift and the curse of water? And looking at kind of world mythologies and digging deeper on that, it definitely took a bit of time. That's why it's been 10 years since the short film is about 3 years after the short. For 3 years, I was like, I don't know what the feature is. I don't know if there is a feature. I don't know if there's enough of an idea here. And then I found the ideas of that mythology you're alluding to, and I was like, okay, this family in this situation with the give and the take of all of this and the history of the water, and that's a movie. But it was not. It did not come before the short. It actually came after. But I'm glad that I'm glad I waited and was patient to make sure there was enough there to actually tell a full story. That's really important to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there was a lot. But what I love about it is the mythology is very rich, but the focus really is on this family and the characters and their relationships with one another. Every single one of them has something going on,
That's right.
which I really loved. When you were creating these characters, how did you kind of flesh them out, and what inspired each and every single one of them?
Yeah, just thinking about, I think, starting with kind of Ray has the most to kind of gain and lose in this situation, right? He's a professional athlete. He has to retire early because he gets this degenerative illness, so he's got a lot he's dealing with, but there's effects for the whole family of that. So I think it was just kind of being like, what would each character want in that situation? So the kid, the son, just wants his dad to love him and see him as he is, And you have the daughter who's the crush, the school, the kind of wanting to have a community and fit in here and have that relationship, and the wife and the mother, Eve, just trying to hold the whole family together and carrying so much of the weight of that. It was just kind of thinking through how would the pool tempt, entice, trick, betray, and challenge each of them, and try to just think from that character perspective. And it was a really fun challenge. Yeah.
Well, challenge accepted. People are going to love this. And
Awesome. I hope so.
Congratulations on being part of the Universal Horror legacy now.
Man, it feels good.
It's really an honor to talk to you.
Yeah,
So
awesome,
thank you,
dude. I
Bryce.
appreciate it. Thank you so
Hi
much.
guys, I'm Mike Manal from the Nerds of Color here with Ryan Turek, producer of Night Swim. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thanks. Ryan, you've had an amazing year. Last year we saw Exorcist come out, and you're a part of that legacy. Now you're kind of starting something new with Night Swim here. I mean, what's that feel like for you?
It feels really good. Always a big proponent of new original horror, and as much as I love diving into the IP, I also love telling new original horror stories, and thankfully, Blumhouse has been very good at juggling both.
That's one of the things I love about them is they'll take low-budget original movies and then blow them up into these wonderful, imaginative, brilliant premises. I mean, upon seeing the original short Night Swim, did anything with Bryce or Rod kind of just speak to you? How did you end up discovering this and then optioning it into a movie and turning it into a movie?
Yeah, for sure. It's an interesting journey because from the start, our friends at Atomic Monster, James Wan's company, they had actually developed it with Bryce very early on. And when we got involved, it was already a fully fleshed out script. And I had seen the short too. And with a lot of shorts, it's always a question as part of my job, which is, do I see a feature film in this? And strangely, with Night Swim, I was like, man, this is a really great idea. The setting is so ripe for something, but what's the story? And the feature script told us everything we needed to know. It was pretty well baked. There was a really great family drama, a really great location, some really great set pieces around the pool. So Bryce really maximized it.
It's so unique, honestly. You don't see a premise like this, and you don't know if it's going to work, if something set around a pool, just a pool, is going to work, but it does.
It does.
And you guys are going in and out of the pool. It's really brilliant. The mythology behind it is really brilliant. I mean, tell me about what it's working like with Bryce. Did you help him cultivate this mythology as, the script came to you guys, following James and everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big questions outside of what are you going to do to build scary set pieces around the pool was what's the mythology. And it was something that was dialed in pre-production and even through shooting and post-production. There were still things that we needed to finesse and questions of how far do we go in explaining things. But I think we found that right balance of explaining what are the origins of this evil pool, how does it work, the kind of wish fulfillment you get from that, and how is it a major threat to our characters. And I like that throughout the film that you see the different shades, of its influence. From the dark water when you swim down too deep, the flickering light, which tells you that evil's coming, and the ghosts that are the former victims of the pool.
I gotta ask, I mean, right out of the gate, you had such a dynamic cast on this one. You had Kerry, fresh off of her Oscar nomination for Banshees. You have Wyatt coming right out of the MCU. I mean, what was it like kind of getting them involved? Were they involved prior to this,
Yeah, listen, I mean, we were extremely lucky to get both of them. And honestly, couldn't imagine anybody better for, to play our Eve and Ray Waller. Kerry brings such an emotional gravity to the role. In the film itself, she's really the bedrock of this family. And Wyatt does a great job of, playing someone very paternal, but slightly just like a little tinge of unhinged once the pool's influence starts to come into play. No, they're fantastic. We love them both.
It's a brilliant use of both their talents, honestly. I mean, and I was talking with Bryce about this, the mythology is so rich. I felt like we only barely scratched the surface of it with this movie. Do you ever see this becoming an extensive franchise, potentially, where you explore more of this mythology?
Right. You never say never when it comes to these movies, especially when we, kick off an original film. Look at Black Phone. We have Black Phone 2 on the way. Bryce definitely laid the groundwork by giving us, if you listen very early on, what the source of the water is. So who's to say that the water's not leaking into another property or, another part of that neighborhood?
Well, I personally would like to see even more about this, if I may. I love original horror, but this is how franchises start. You can't have Halloween too without Halloween.
Yeah.
So congratulations on
Thank you
Night
so
Swim.
much.
Congratulations on everything. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Yeah.
The activists, directors, comments and the lectures, fanboys, professional artists and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life, comics, movies, and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.